Welcome to our PAX Recap 2016. Today we're just going to be talking about our, PAX experiences this year and, what went on. So, I'm Corey, as you all know.
I'm Mark, mostly the camera guy.
I'm Vinny, the weird one.
That's Thomas. Thomas doesn't like talking on camera.
Eh.
Okay. So, the very first thing we're going to start with is, what was your favorite thing at PAX? What was the coolest thing you did? Start with Vinny, and then we'll go work down this way.
Playing in the Destiny Open Tournament.
Yeah? How'd you do in the Destiny Open Tournament?
I came second in my very first match, and it was free for all, so I lost in my first match.
Did you win anything?
No, but I had fun.
No, you had fun? Okay. Anything else cool that you did that is honorable mention?
Pretty much just trying out a lot of VR.
Yeah. We'll go over that a little more in a little bit. So, pass the mic on to Mark.
I have to say the coolest thing was actually trying Vive for the first time. It's really comfy compared to like Oculus. I tried that again. I tried the retail version for the first time, and not comfy at all.
I would say one of the coolest things I did is I basically had a Fallout day today. I came really early and I went down to the West Inn and got my copy of the Fallout Deluxe soundtrack signed by Einon Zur, and then I popped over to the main hall and played the Bethesda VR Fallout demo, and it was like you kind of get to play in this little area. It's cool. We'll talk about that more later when we go into our VR segment. And Thomas, here you go.
Mine would probably have to be the indie VR stuff. There was this really cool like joystick foot thing. I got to try that and I didn't get motion sick. No. Most of the times that I've tried Vive or Oculus, I have got motion sick, even just a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more later. Make sure to bring that up. So, what's the next thing on our list here? What's your favorite indie game you saw this year? Vinny?
That's a hard one. I'd probably have to say my favorite indie game is that it was very, very small game so far, but it literally is just called Run Gun Jump Gun.
Oh,
you just run and shoot with your gun.
So can you explain? So what kind of game is it? It's like a side scroller, or
it is literally just a side scroll. You don't have to run yourself. You don't have to move any control sticks, and all you have to do is either shoot forward at stuff or shoot down to jump up. And that's the whole game, but it gets really hard.
Really fast.
And it's all crazy, all in different colors, and it's really like looking like the retro style, like how Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon looks.
the way you're explaining it right now makes me think of Hotline Miami.
Yeah,
Except that's top down, but yeah.
Yeah, but
It's Hotline Miami meets a helicopter game, if you know what I'm talking. Helicopter cave game.
Jetpack Joyride. That comes to mind.
It's a little bit different though.
Okay, Mark, what's your favorite indie game this year?
Well, I've seen it before, but I have probably to say Project High Rise. It's just my kind of game. That
Engineer.
kind of sim game. Yeah.
In case anyone out there in YouTube land doesn't know, Mark's an engineering student, and there's a video game designed towards engineers. You like it.
Yeah, plus I'm a more slow-paced gamer in most respects, so that's something that I could just sit back and play for a long time.
You're pretty into the simulation games and stuff like that. I like those too. And it was funny because right next to the High Rise, like one booth down, there was High Rise, and then there was another game called Basement, and they're both kind of actually similar games, except one you're building a high rise and trying to maximize your profits and stuff in this building, and the other one you're cooking drugs in the basement, and it's kind of actually a similar style game except completely different. My favorite game I checked out would probably have been Y2K. It is it's like an Earthbound style RPG with some like Final Fantasy elements. It was pretty cool, and it's set in the 90s, and you can basically go on the internet, on the 90s version of the internet with this like computer, and it kind of looks like a Netscape browser, and then you can go and do these different missions about conspiracy theories that you find on message boards and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Thomas, what was your favorite indie game you saw?
Now to come up with something different. I was gonna say Y2K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it for half an hour twice, and I quite enjoyed it.
Try any other ones? Just maybe an honorable mention then, if that's gonna be
Basement.
Basement. You thought Basement was cool?
Yeah, it was a pretty nice looking game. I didn't get to try that Fox game that you guys did.
Yeah. That was really cool. It's like a Zelda clone almost. So.
Yeah.
Like clone. I don't want to say clone because that diminishes it, but
You have to admit, though, the cover art does look like the Legend of Link.
it only looks like the Legend of Link because
But
it's a
it's a
guy with a
fox.
sword, shield, and a green shirt. That's all.
No, like the same stance, too. I'll show you after.
He's a guy with
All protagonists have the same stance.
Yeah,
and
all
a
protagonists. They're
boxer.
always holding. Yeah, they're always holding it the same way. Like, what are you gonna not do? You're gonna hold the shield backwards? Like. Okay. Did anyone get any cool swag this year?
I got.
What was your coolest swag you got, Vinny?
I got a replica hunter knife for Destiny. That's pretty cool. It's right over there.
Yeah.
Maybe I could grab it.
Yeah, go grab it.
Okay.
Do you want to grab that over there for me too?
Sure. So I got like some uber nerdy, like really minimalistic swag, and that was I got my silver talent pipes, which are essentially pipes from a book called Name of the Wind, or also from the second book, A Wise Man's Sphere, and it is basically just this little item from the book that is significant to the main character, and that's like all it is.
Here's my favorite piece of swag. It wasn't free, as in like free swag, but I did pay quite a bit for this. Oh, careful, it gets hooked on the corners. Oh, just grab it. Oh, okay, it's fine. It's just the bag. You want to hold the mic, Thomas? I don't want the record to fall out. So this is the Fallout 4 Deluxe soundtrack. And if you see, there's a little piece of silver scribble down there, and
Should I
that's
pull out a single record.
yeah. It's signed by Einon Zur. It's a 6-record set, and it comes with the full soundtrack that he composed. It doesn't come with any of the 50s tunes. It's just the orchestral soundtrack, and it comes with all this cool art from all the magazines in the game, and all the records are printed on this cool blue vinyl with the
Yellow sticker.
with yellow labels and stuff. And yeah, the art's pretty cool. It's got the atomic hot rodder. What's in here? Awesome tails, picket fences. Very cool. Yeah, I got to meet Einon Zur this morning, and he was pretty excited that I bought this because I don't know if he'd seen one yet. And yeah, that's probably my coolest piece of swag I picked up this year. What about you, Thomas?
You're probably going to listen to that as soon as you get home.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Over and over again. I ended up not getting too much. Mainly Cards Against Humanity. There's, a Donald Trump pack, a Vote for Hillary pack.
What about your free stuff? Did you get anything cool that was free?
A CD from the guy off the street.
My new hot
Not
mixtape.
going to my main rig. I've watched Mr. Robot. Not doing that.
Steal your bank records.
I did
Thomas.
end up buying some music CDs from some of the guys that were playing on the show floor. So
Yeah,
that'll be
they were a
pretty
really
cool.
good band.
Actual music CDs, not one from off the street.
Yeah.
You know, it was funny. Like they had these CDs. Like each one of the people at the Music Maestro's autograph panel, they each had CDs that you could take for free. And I forgot. Like I just got the thing signed and I left because but I'm sure it's all available online. He's got a YouTube channel, so
Yeah.
yeah. What's
I
the
did
next
get a
thing?
mug.
BT Dub, this
I bought a mug
this
and
is
a
the
shirt
hunter knife.
because I normally buy shirts just to get the
Shake.
little patch, but I got a mug.
The next thing we're gonna talk about is panels. What was everyone's favorite panel they went to?
Feed the Beast.
So we start on that end.
I missed mine because it was Friday morning and we weren't up early enough. I wanted to go to the Rooster Teeth panel.
You go to the Rooster Teeth panel almost every year.
Yeah, I missed it this year.
At least you got to meet them, right? Again.
Yeah, they had the big booth this year and they had everyone there. It was pretty good.
Okay.
They always had like podcasts going, so it wasn't like I missed much, so it's fine.
So I went to the Night of Randomness with Patrick Rothfuss, and it's just basically him talking about random shit, answering questions in a very roundabout manner, and at one point reading some material he wrote long ago for his college newspaper column. And it's just very, very funny and random because he's a very free man in that he just swears whenever he wants to. He says whatever the hell he wants to, and you just gotta accept that.
My favorite panel I went to was probably the Nuka Break panel. They basically they played a short section from one of their shorts, Red Star, Fallout Red Star. I think that was the second short they did before they did the first season of Nuka Break. And then after that, they played a little teaser trailer for the new new season, and they had a question and answer period at the end, and I got up and asked a question about whether there'd be any new if they'd finally go into a vault, because that's probably a pretty hard thing to do from a cinematic standpoint. And they did mention that yes, in the new season there is a vault. That's pretty much actually the only piece of information they gave out the entire time.
Wow.
So
Is there going to be a vault? Yes.
yeah, that was pretty much it.
Huh. Didn't Patrick sing at one point, Mark?
Yeah, that's just the thing that people request and stuff.
Yeah. I remember you being a little weirded out at that. I ended up only going... No, I went to a few panels, but the main one I went to was the Feed the Beast panel. They talked about what they want to do, what they have done, and what we'll see within 2 years. It's actually really cool. They're wanting to put native VR support into modded Minecraft.
That is a very nice segue into our other section. Did you have something to say real quick?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Our next segment is going to be basically walking around the PAX floor versus previous years. One thing's become evident that this has definitely been the year of VR so far. It might be crazier next year, but like I don't see... I remember the first year we went to PAX, just Thomas and I, and it was hard to find anyone who was doing a VR demo. There was like an Oculus demo.
There's only like dev kits at that point, right?
Yeah, there was only dev kits out, so there was an Oculus demo, and I got to play one upstairs at this tiny little gaming booth called I think they're called Cloudhead Games, and they're out of Vancouver. But this year, like, there was VR everywhere. Like so many indie games had VR. Bethesda did a VR thing. There was an entire section, the entire top floor of the West End was almost just VR, except for the panels that they had
Almost
there.
every single place, like big AAA developer, had some kind of VR there. Like whether PlayStation VR, whether the Vive or Oculus, so even the new Oculus motion controls were being tested. Some of the demos.
I would like to try that.
Yeah.
I want to see if that's any good. There was quite a bit of VR there. Like even Resident Evil had an experience that you had to get these special tickets for, and I was actually waiting in line for the Fallout VR experience, and the guy in front of me told me he couldn't make the Resident Evil his appointment he had at the Resident Evil thing, so he gave me this ticket. It's actually pretty cool, and it's got this holographic thing around the outside, and I gave it to Vinny, and he went and checked out the Resident Evil experience. Do you want to talk about that a
Corey
little
was
bit?
so nice and he gave it to me. Actually, I could see it being scary for a lot of people, but I think the game's going to be more scarier than just this little demo.
Yeah.
It felt cool to be immersed in it, though. Like, personally, I tried to make it funny to try and get out of this scary situation, but it was pretty good. I liked it.
One thing I'd like to mention is that the VR demo they were running isn't the game. It's actually just like a specific demo they've set up for like conventions and stuff like that. And you're sitting in a chair kind of, and you can move around a little bit and stuff.
They were using assets from their game, though.
Yeah, it was assets from the game. So did you find it scary? Like I know you were trying to make it funny, but
there wasn't really a great jump scare. Like, it was a pretty slow scare.
so if you were just sitting alone at night on your computer and it was really quiet out and you're wearing your VR headset, would it have been freaky?
I think it would have been more freaky because it was a lot more easy like during the day for me to be like, oh, this is funny. But they did have you in a pitch black room sitting there with VR on, so it wasn't like it was all lighted up and everything.
That's cool. Yeah, I would like to mention that demo was on PlayStation VR, which is also made a pretty big presence this year. Yeah. There's quite a few games you could play at their booth that were all PlayStation VR games. I think that's coming out pretty soon here, like by Christmas time.
During Christmas.
Yeah, I
season.
think it's supposed to launch this Christmas. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think is it for Black Friday, I think.
Yeah. They were saying things about that.
It's just in the Christmas season, it'll ramp up, and obviously lots of people get it.
Do you have a VR experience you want to talk about, Mark?
Not in particular.
Not in particular?
Just it's just ever present everywhere you go. Like,
Did you play anything?
yeah, a couple things.
Played a couple things?
But World of War Tunes? What was that called?
World War Tunes.
War Tunes.
World War Tunes. Yeah, it was an Oculus-based game with a controller, and the controls were very strange. I think that's what hindered it the most.
The actual VR experience of it wasn't so bad. Like, it didn't make me sick or anything. But the point of the game and how the game played just made no sense. It wasn't very intuitive, and it was hard to get anything done.
It seemed like they had a pretty big appearance there up at the top floor of the Westin, but it was probably like one of the least favored games up there of us. Like we played literally a tiny little indie title there that was like
Cowbots and Aliens.
Cowbots vs Aliens, and it was just a brawler, like a bar brawl, and it was just so much fun because it's actual motion controls with the Vive, and so much better than just like sitting down and trying to play a first person shooter.
So I got to try out Bethesda VR. I waited in line for almost 3 hours to get in, and it was quite the wait. But I think it was worth it just to try these games because these games are some of the very first AAA games that are really supporting and VR that aren't just meant to be VR games. So it's interesting to see how they incorporate it. I had a choice between Fallout and Doom. I think Fallout was fun, but I almost kind of wish I'd tried Doom because apparently the controls they used are really amazing. But Fallout was basically... it was really cool still. I'm not saying it wasn't cool. It was basically they had... you spawned in at the Red Rocket gas station in Fallout. I think there's actually some footage of this online, which I'll maybe link or something like that. And you can kind of teleport around the gas station. So it's teleportation based. You can do a little bit of walking, but it's only within like a 5-foot square area. And there's a table set up there which you can walk up to, and there's a bunch of weapons on the table, and you can pick up the weapons with the controller and then swap between them. On your right hand you have your gun, right? And then on your left hand you have a Pip-Boy, and you can actually just hold your arm up like this and look at your Pip-Boy, and then with the knobs on the dial you can control the Pip-Boy settings and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden you start getting attacked by these feral ghouls, and you're like shooting them, and they feel like they're coming at you. It's really freaky. Like I know in the game sometimes when you're like in a dark place and a feral ghoul pops up, and it's and it can be freaky like that. But like when they're coming at you, it's like they're coming at you. You know.
So Corey, do you think it has the potential to actually be able to play the whole game in this VR experience, or do you think it's kind of niche right now? Like you're not sure that it can be applied to everything.
When I was doing the demo, I felt like they had taken a lot out of the game because I think it's meant to be strictly a demo right now. I actually think that maybe it's possible that the VR software, there's a custom piece of software that's running the VR experience, which is different from the regular engine. And my guess would be that it's even the same piece of software that's running the Doom experience. So it's almost like they're completely redoing the game. It feels like. And everything wasn't quite there yet. Like, for example, I saw a med kit on the ground, and I went to go, like, open the med kit, but you couldn't do that yet. The inventory system isn't there. But apparently it's launching next year, so if they can integrate everything that was in Fallout into it, I think it could be a pretty fun experience, and you could play the entire game like that. But I would like to see something other than the teleportation controls, because it can be a little clumsy sometimes, because you'll point over there. Maybe you get good at it after a while. Maybe I didn't play it long enough. But like, so you teleport over there, and then and then maybe you're too close to something. You can step around, but I would like to see maybe some sort of just joystick type control, because some people have a big problem with that, with the motion sickness thing. I don't think I definitely don't. I've never experienced in all the time. I must have tried VR at least 10, 15 times now, and I've never yet experienced any sort of motion sickness. So.
I don't know about the statistics of motion sickness regarding movement through another means, but I do know that if it's not done right, people can get very sick. But I feel the teleportation mechanic is a very game or immersion breaking mechanic. It just makes me feel like I am literally in a room wearing a headset, rather than, being able to walk around in this world without interrupting by like, oh, I gotta point over in that direction and then press the teleport button, and then I have to wait for my rail cam to follow the path to that position,
Yeah, I like how versus the Cowbots and Aliens, like you basically teleport around the room in that game. In Fallout 4, you could only travel about 5 feet, which kind of gave it a little bit more natural of a progression, and you kind of zoom in. It felt pretty comfortable, but at the same time, it was the clumsiness of being able to move to something. But I figured that someone will probably either you'll be able to do it, or you'll be able to make a mod, or someone will make a mod that just allows you to use a joystick or something. Maybe with some head bobbing type action to make it feel like you're actually walking.
Well, there's not much that they can do at this point. Like, it's a good medium, right? They don't want you to just be able to walk in a tiny square and that's it.
Yeah.
But at least they're trying to do something so you can go up farther afield. I think pretty much most games right now have that teleportation.
There is one. There's the only possible option I could think of that would solve this problem in the best possible way.
Omni.
Virtue X Omni, yeah.
That footboard that we saw.
But you can't stand up while using that.
No,
Can't stand up, no.
But you could use it to go forwards, back, left, right. It's like, what the
But you
hell?
need to be able to turn 360.
But
Yeah, I guess an Omni is probably the best choice.
so we tried out
You
this
move your
joystick. It's
feet
called the
and it
3D
turns.
rudder, and essentially you use your feet. It has to be done in a seated position to navigate in a VR space. And right now it's just kind of like God mode in a tech demo world, but it didn't make me motion sick at all. And if someone else could capture that, but for, walking for a standing up position, it would really work because it's there. You can move around without having motion sickness. So.
Yeah,
It could be anything, just like a Wii Fit board, like just something that's physical on the ground that you can stand on and do that. Or maybe like a Dance Dance Revolution, like a big pad, so that it can actually track, like if you move just a little bit farther out. So you can move in this area, but you want to move a little bit farther, and then it makes your character move a little bit more. I don't know, that might work, but they're probably looking into things like this, because they want to make it more immersive.
Yeah, going back to that board thing, that was the one time I didn't feel sick after 20 minutes of using a VR headset, because I was the one controlling the movement as opposed to using a controller. I tend to, if I'm not driving my car, like someone else is driving, I tend to get even a little bit sick. So, I don't know. VR has a little ways to go for me, at least.
Yeah, some people, I've heard people say that some people just are never going to be able to use VR because it's just, some people have such bad motion sickness or seasickness that it could be a problem. That's one of the other reasons I really wanted to try Doom is because you know how Doom is.
Mm-hmm.
Doom is a very fast game. And I would imagine I did actually they were talking about, some of the guys at the booth were telling what was in the machines that were running these games, and they're running two 1080s in SLI to kind of probably get the solid frame rate that you would need to have that experience work properly. I guess we'll see. Maybe Virtua X Omni's the way, but I don't see a lot of people just buying, just having a Virtua X Omni just in their living room. That's the biggest issue I think so far. It's a niche product, and I don't know if it'll ever beat that. But if it can, that'd be pretty cool. Like if everyone just has a TV, has a computer, has a Virtua X Omni in their living room, right?
The problem with the Virtua X Omni though is that it restricts some of the cooler things of VR that I've seen in demos and stuff. In that you can crouch down and really get into it. You can duck your head and look around things. Whereas the Virtua X Omni limits you to a standing position or running position. So it's fine for running and gunning, but it cuts back on the exploration factor or the puzzle factor.
Like in a lot of things, you can physically dodge when you're just using a Vive and the hand controls. Whereas in Omni, you want to try and crouch. You crouch, but the game just essentially acts as a button for the crouch button.
I did actually. I was moving some bottles around in the Fallout VR demo, and I dropped one by mistake, and I just leaned down and picked it up. It was just, I didn't even think about it.
It wasn't anything important. It was just a natural movement.
Yeah, it was a natural movement. It's like, oh, I dropped this thing. Let's pick it up. And then I really liked, because I was an obsessive in Fallout 3. I decorated the shit out of my apartment area in the 10 penny tower, and I found it so easy. I was like, oh look, there's a bottle, and then I picked it up, and it was, you could turn it and go like this, and you just set it on the table, and it just, as Todd Howard would say, it just works.
I'm pretty sure Corey spent the better part of 1,000 hours arranging photography cameras and money in his apartment.
Yeah, I spent. It wasn't 1,000 hours. I have 150 hours in Fallout 3, but
150 hours logged.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to say about their VR experience? You talked about the thing, yeah. Now we're just gonna talk about some strange things we saw at PAX. What was some of the weirdest things? You see anything weird? I can go first if you want.
You can go first. Yeah, I'll try and think.
I saw an indie game at the Indie Mega booth, and it was a folktale based game, and there was fishermen and stuff like that. It was a very pastel style art style, and it was very interesting. It was probably one of the strangest games I've seen in a while. So, anyone else have anything?
The Chocobo cars. So loud going down Seattle. Think of louder than a fire truck.
Okay, we gotta explain what the Chocobo cars
Going.
are.
It's literally just an Uber car that was like an Austin Mini, and it was dressed up as like a chocobo because of Final Fantasy.
Well, you gotta explain.
Okay,
it's only a few tail feathers and it's yellow. That's it.
It's got a chocobo face on it. You know,
some of them.
and it goes caca.
Yeah, it does
Everywhere.
that sound really loud, and you can hear it from blocks away.
That's not that bad.
You know what's funny? I haven't actually heard these at all. I have no idea what you're talking about. I
We
did
just
hear that
saw
they
them today.
existed, but I remember last year they had the Mad Max ones, and those were really cool.
Those were cool.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, those cars were awesome.
Anyone else see anything strange?
I saw a non-gender bent Reaper from Overwatch dressed in basically
Sexy bunny outfit.
sexy bunny outfit. That was disturbing. Then there was like someone from that was dressed up as Fallout. He had a power armor helmet.
Oh, yeah.
And then a blue dress, and it made a lot of sense because
Yeah.
those are items you can actually get and put on as a joke in the game, or try and do a playthrough as that if you want to. So that was legitimately funny. The Reaper thing was just disturbing.
I think there's a really cool mod that allows you to put on anything over any piece of main armor, so you can you could have a dress underneath, but then like have a raider chest armor on top, and it gets pretty crazy. See anything crazy, Vinny?
Not particularly crazy, other than the one girl who was dressed up as the girl from the Resident Evil demo that I tested.
Okay.
As soon as you come out, they make her like pop around the corner, and it really got like the two little kids that went in there.
Oh,
And it was pretty bad. It was
Why would you
funny.
take kids to Resident? Why would you take kids to Resident?
They
Evil?
wanted it. They waited in line. Why wouldn't they?
hey, when I was like that age, how old were they? Do you think?
They had to get their mom's approval.
Another weird thing: the amount of parents with babies in like
Oh, yeah.
slings and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was weird. Like I'm like, would a baby around a whole convention center? That's pretty dangerous, you know. Like something could happen.
You know what I found really strange is there's like these several archetypes of people that go to PAX. So there's let me explain this and you see if you guys agree. There's the guy. Sometimes he's an enforcer working for PAX, and he's wearing a kilt and a cowboy hat and has a beard. Have you seen that guy?
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna
he's
be
not
that
even
guy
just a
next
guy.
year.
He's a type of guy.
I'm gonna be that guy next year.
And there's a bunch of these, and it's very interesting to see what nerd culture is like for these people. It's pretty interesting. But then there's people you wouldn't expect to be there, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like I saw a couple I saw this woman. She couldn't have been younger than 56. She was there with her kids and stuff like that.
So sometimes I look at some people and I'm like, wow, what a nerd. And then sometimes I think I'm like, do I look like that? Am I that nerdy?
And then you shut up.
And I'm like, am I a weeb? Question.
I saw these two people who must have been someone's grandparents or something because they were legitimately like grandparent aged, and they had PAX badges and everything, and they were just wearing like a plain plaid shirt and pants for the guy, and the lady just looked like a grandma, and I'm like, wow, these are either the most cool grandparents or they're just like being dragged along by some kid.
Mm.
But that surprised me.
One of the cooler things we saw was there was at the Intel booth. They had a case. It was an NZXT case that someone had installed a clear side panel on that was like an LCD screen, and they could put footage up on and stuff.
But they even had something better at the Bethesda booth.
Oh.
All of the Dishonored 2 display cases had all those screens.
Yeah.
They were
Really?
larger.
I'm gonna have to go look
And they
at that
played
tomorrow.
actual videos on them. And it was touchscreen, too. You could actually touch
they're
it.
touch screens.
Yeah, I'm going down there tomorrow. to
Yeah,
take a
it
look
was
at
really
Yeah,
cool
those were
because
cool.
when you were in line up for the Fallout 4 VR,
I'm sure
that's
those
when
were,
we went there.
I'm sure those were very expensive. But like even the one in the case panel was like $1,000 supposedly.
Yeah, Bethesda. But I think Bethesda might be able to afford it.
Oh yeah.
They do make a little bit of money here and there, so.
Especially because they want Dishonored 2 to be such a good IP.
A little bit of money here and there. I don't have anything else of yours.
No.
Your Quantum
Sure.
shirt, and
Yeah.
then I see your Fallout bag over there.
Too much Fallout stuff.
Well, I'm just saying that their games and stuff like that. They grossed a ridiculous amount on the last two big games.
Well, it's not like they're bad games.
Yeah. So did anyone meet anyone cool? Did you meet anyone interesting?
I talked to Deej, He's the community manager at Bungie.
Oh, I saw D today too.
D?
From Node.
Node. Oh, D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he with Node still? I don't know.
Yes.
I have no idea.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. You see anyone cool, Mark?
Just the normal people that we typically see, which is like the NCX crew, the Linus crew, and Jerry and Timmy Tech.
Oh, we saw the guys
Tech
from
people.
BS Mods too.
Oh yeah, BS Mods.
We ran into those
Run,
guys.
Bob.
Today I ran into Donkey from Video Game Donkey.
Video game donkey.
And it was funny because he was like right in front of me and I didn't even recognize him at first because I've seen his videos and the ones where he shows his face and stuff like that. But someone mentioned him and they were like, "Oh, hey, Donkey," and he was like, "Hey." So I'm like just like he did in his videos. So. You meet anyone cool?
Well, what about Donkey's girlfriend? Does she actually sound like that?
Yes, she actually sounds like that.
Hi guys, I'm Libby.
I don't think I met anyone because I was always with you guys, so you guys already said everything.
Do you meet anyone at the Feed the Beast panel or anything, or any YouTubers or anything?
Yeah,
There were
a bunch of
Twitch
sweaties.
streamers like Flame Goat and I'm trying to think of their names. T Love Tech and several others, but nothing.
No one
No one
cares.
Cool.
super crazy.
I think that's all I have to talk about on my list. Does anyone have any other things we can talk about?
Let's just talk about something quite general. What direction do you think games are going right now with the inflow of a bunch of VR? Do you think that it's just going to be VR, or do you think people are going to actually still continue to make good games
That aren't VR?
focusing around VR?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, not until the only time VR will become, if the VR ever does become, I don't think it will. I think it'll always stay as like a separate thing. I do think that eventually we're going to see a VR console where you buy it and it's an all-inclusive experience and you plug it in and it's good to go.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about at some of the panels.
Yeah. I think a lot of games will also be made both a VR version and not a VR version. So
There'd be a lot of work to
Fallout.
do because it's completely different, as we've seen with Fallout 4.
well, it is in their demo, but there are, like, for the average game, you can download a basic mod that some dude's threw together in his basement in about 20 hours that allows you to play it with VR, and that's not even, like, a giant team focusing on it.
Minecraft.
So yeah.
Minecraft
Yeah.
is the mod name.
So, one very basic VR thing that I'd be very excited for, and few other people will be, except for a very niche group, is VR truck sim. So like Euro Truck and American Truck, they already have mod support and stuff, but it's just not quite there, and that's purely because just looking around to see your surroundings is all you need for that game. So it's a super easy mod, and that's why it works for both a normal game and a VR game, in that it's literally just head motion that you need.
So, Canadian Truck Simulator VR confirmed?
Confirmed.
I don't know about that, Mark. You're just sitting in a chair and you're looking around.
That's all I need.
That's all he needs.
Yeah.
Needs his
Anything,
fix.
anything anyone else want to talk about
Be
before
cool
we
to
end the...
track your wheels somehow.
Oh, it'd be
That'd be pretty easy, actually, if you think
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Well, it already does. It already is like. You
Yeah,
can-
but I mean, like, if you just so it always stays at that spot, and I don't know.
It does.
Well,
It already does.
Because sometimes I've seen it
distance.
where judders,
I see.
and
Ah.
and then it's like the wheel could be here, but his real life wheel's here,
Oh, okay.
like that.
Well, that'll just
Awesome.
come from official developer support. I think it'll be just likely that when they're building the game, they just include it from the ground up as an option, and then that's how they manage it.
Granted, I've seen people tape the Vive controller to a camera to make the camera trackable, something like that.
Over.
Anything else anyone want to talk about? No? Well, if you've made it to the end of this video, good on you. Yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and keep watching our videos. Hope to see you next year. Thanks. Bye.